bro fans, this is Todd. Let's go ahead and do our sound check. Oh, that's funny. It spelled Jim wrong, huh? Hold on a sec. All right, I'm back. Let's go and check our sound now. See if it's working. Cool, it's working. All right, if you refresh your screen, it should say Jim correctly now. I can't believe it. I just did the voice thing and didn't check to see which Jim it put in there. That's funny. So anyway, oh, you got the land shark and the battle ram, or ram man. That's cool. So let's go ahead and talk about some stuff. I'll answer your questions in a few minutes. So first of all, let's get this out. So I used to be a big Jim fan when I was a kid, and here's Big Josh. And I remember when I first got the 2000X Fisto, or Battle Fist as they called them back then, because they couldn't use the word Fisto because the kid fist got a kit Fisto. It's kind of funny is I actually heated his legs up and made him stand extra tall. And when I did, he was so tall compared to the He-Man figure. It was like, yeah, he's Big Josh, you know. And Big Josh came with a falcon in one of the sets you could buy. And take a look at that. That is our bird from the 80s. And you can see the wings back there on the bird. And they actually repurposed it for Big Jim. And so I was almost tempted to buy this set last night, just so I could show you guys the bird. So I did take the Wonder Twins bird. It comes in the Wonder Twin. Was it Wonder Twin? Yeah. And I made it so it belongs to Fisto. So it's like the Big Josh set. You can see there. Oops. Just pull it right out. You can see there it looks just like reminiscent of the Big Josh bird. And I thought that's so cool. So, oops, that's why Fisto, I know they said his name was Malcolm in the back of the thing, but in my book, he is Big Josh. So there you go. So there he is. Big Josh, Big Josh. So I do want to talk a little more about Fisto. It's like you guys are really busy on the chat back there. Is also a Big Josh. Hold on, before I jump back to Fisto. Is, not only did he have the cool bird thing and the arm thing to hold it, which I wish I would have made for He-Man, but there's another Big Josh, and he came with an axe and thing to chop on, so he could actually, you know, like I was mentioning earlier, he always reminded me kind of oh yeah, I forgot his name. Help me out here. He had a blue ox named Babe, Paul Bunyan. So Fisto is also reminding me of Paul Bunyan, and sure enough, there you can see there's Big Josh with his axe and his tree that would chop in half. And it was just a cool thing. Of course, he had the button, and he had the flex thing. They had this crazy thing where these guys would wear these flex pieces on their arms, and the toys actually would flex their biceps. And as they flex their bicep, they'd pop it off. So you can see there he is, Big Josh. There's his armband there. So, Big Josh. So let's talk a little about Fisto, and I'll answer your question about the armor, if it fits or not. We'll check it out and see. So I did fix my Malcolm and put the fist on there because somebody made a comment saying, you know, you took away his one thing that makes him Fisto. I did save the giant fist that I stole from Thunder Punch He-Man so I can swap it back out to Malcolm, but the fist doesn't fit on there while it's on there. And besides that, This, you have to heat it up and pop it on and off. Now, some Fistos did not have the wrist painted silver on the inside. Some were just skin color, but mine was, so I was kind of lucky. I think this one I pulled the fist off actually was not colored underneath. I think it was just standard skin color. So when my daughter was little, she used to play with this particular Fisto right here. And I had a picture of her sucking on his head and his fist. And it's the funniest thing. I know this is the one she had because I had to hot glue this on there. And there's hot glue inside the arm there. So this is the exact one that she used to actually suck on when she was a baby. And so it's kind of funny. So let's go ahead and try out some armor. Let's first see what some of your questions are before I jump to there. Yeah, Fisto is always cool. He's not my top 11, but he is really cool. So let's go ahead, and you guys want to know if the armor fits on Origins figure. I happen to have a half Origins figure right here. So, you know what? I'll just go and pop these legs on him. Ugh, wrong color, wrong style. But you know what? I got to take the legs off anyway to take off his armor. Okay. So first, let's try the 80s Fisto's armor and see if it fits on him. So for those of you who want to make your own customs, let's just check this out and see how close this is to fitting. And it does not close on the bottom. So you cannot fit the 80s armor on him. So that's a bummer. So let's go ahead and put this back on him. Wow, he is really dusty. Fisto, Fisto. Fit on there. All right, so let's go ahead and pull off the armor from the classics. And I'm sure it's going to fit. Ugh. Yep, looks like it's fitting no problem. So if you guys get some retro armor from somebody online, you could use it to make your Origins custom. And of course, the head's going to take a little heating up to put on there, but it will fit on there as well. But like I said, with all the other classics heads, this ball is a little larger. You can see it here. So to put it on there, you got to Dremel this out a little bit or just heat it up really hot, then pop it on there. And the skin color is not too bad. I mean, it does kind of match He-Man close enough. Paint the cuff silver, and you're off and going. All right. So for those that didn't see my video last night, it was the night before, is I had to make this custom right here because the Fisto we got had a just stuck, you know, always having the same armor on. You couldn't have them go armorless or swap to a different type of armor or anything else, which does kind of stink. So I actually used a Molar to make this body and took all Fisto's parts off of Fisto and put it on the Molar. So I used Fisto's forearms, Fisto's armor, loincloth, and boots, and of course his head. But this is actually on a Molar body. And there you go. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at your guys' questions. Oh yeah, scalping has gotten really bad since Toys R Us left. That stinks, Bo. I'm sorry to hear that. Master Far, excellent. Do that custom Fisto next. We literally only have one case of WWE Moto figures. That stinks, Otis. Randy, excellent news about getting your 2000X Ram Man. Nice. Yeah, 2000X for Ant-Man's kind of a fun one. All right, so for those that have not seen my cool purple sword, I try to show this off whenever I can because it is so cool. This was a custom sword that was made before we ever got this one. On one of the comics, you can see it's actually different sizes for the pieces and stuff. On one of the comic covers that was made by Val Staples and his team, they actually show Fisto holding the sword like this in the cover. And it just looks so cool as he's holding this giant sword. Now, it wasn't purple like this. It was actually solid color. And then when he got the Fisto toy, it had this big giant thing on his back to hold a giant sword, but they didn't give us a sword. So they gave us some weird little clamp and gave us a snake thing on his wrist right here for fighting the snake men. And it's like, what the heck? So there are some people online that made the swords, and this one guy named the God Beast made this sword for me. Well, actually, he made it for my wife to give to me for Christmas. And I don't know when I got this, I was so happy to get it. It was so cool. It is translucent, it is purple, and it's just is magnificent. And so I love to show this off whenever I have a chance because it's just so cool. And again, it was made before we ever got this one. And look how close it is to the size. I mean, the guy did an excellent job getting it so close. I mean, it's got the same kind of cutouts, 3 cutouts here. It's got the circle, it matches the comic. It has this piece here instead of the dots. Different sizes, obviously. The handle's a different length. The fist's a different face, a different way even. Does this fist turn around? Nope. But still so cool. Now, I have been tempted to get another 2000X Fisto just for the fist. A friend of mine actually used this fist to make his own custom Classics Fisto. Now, it wouldn't make sense being this is our 2000X version of Fisto because he has the 2000X head and the belt to put a 2000X fist on him. But I don't know. Maybe I'll make one, maybe I won't. But again, I like putting this bird with him because it reminds me of Big Josh. Let's see. Otis asks, how do you feel about the Origins He-Man head? So that is an excellent question. This head right here. I think it's kind of cool and it does have its place. Now, as you guys know, I swapped mine out right away. So I'll show you the head that I use for mine. Here is my go-to He-Man here. And the head I used was from the 3-pack. The Prince Adam head. I came with the blue. I just lose my sound. Let me try that again. There. Hear me better now? Anyway, so I actually used the head from that 3-pack with the Prince Adam PowerCon, and I think that head just works really good for this He-Man. So cool. Seeing him in the store would be cool, Bo. I agree. Have any of you guys gotten the Origins Castle Grayskull? Are they still in Canada? I have not got mine yet. Hoping I get mine soon. It's supposed to be sent out mid-April, so we'll see. And if we do, then I'm planning on making my dungeon fit underneath that floor of that, and that'll be really cool. So we'll have that. All right, do you guys have any other questions about Fisto or my storyline for him? It is funny with these birds. I have the green bird from Beast Boy. I got this bird from the Wonder Twins. I got the purple bird from what is her name? She's the one that uses the mystic powers to turn into different animal strengths. Did the project from yesterday ever finish printing? No, it will not be done until Sunday. So, still working on it. It's running right now downstairs. It's pretty cool that it's still running along. But it's almost a 3-day 3-day print. Nope, not Screech. I can't think of what the lady's name is. I'll show it to you. Vixen, that's her name. Vixen comes with a purple bird. That's the same bird we got with Classics. Let's see, I happen to have her somewhere in this pile. Here she is. So here is Vixen. I think that's her name, right? And the purple bird I actually gave to Evil Lynn. But I do have a spare one for her as well. There it is on the bottom. See, here's the purple bird. That's the same style as the Classics. And so I thought it'd be cool for Evil Lynn to have this because it's purple. Could be some kind of spell she sends out, the bird flying or something. So my Evil Lynn has her. So I actually had to buy 2 of them just so I could have the 2 birds. So that's why I got 2 of her. So it's funny how you try to collect these things, you know, to get all the different variations that they made of the same mold. Oh, what a mess. Someday I gotta clean up this area. Well, it should be getting cleaner soon, because like you guys saw, I got a bunch of stuff on eBay. Gonna add more every week, so eventually my room will get cleaner as I start getting stuff cleaned up. Now, for those that weren't here the other day, I like to add other parts to my Fisto. As you guys saw, obviously, axes are awesome. And somebody mentioned about using Fisto to throw axes. In fact, I want to show you guys something. Hold on a second. Now, as you guys know, 2000X had some awesome play features that were really cool. And so I used to like to see what you could do with these different features. And so Man-at-Arms, let's see, where is that Duncan? Duncan! Where are you, Duncan? There he is. Oh. So Duncan's feature is he beats people up with his club. Right? So there's a 2000X one. Yes, Jaina from the Wonder Twins is where I got the other bird from, this one right here. Yep. And that one actually looks like an eagle because she turns into an eagle and her brother turns into water. So what's fun about this is if you use his throwing feature, or not throwing feature, but his feature like that, and you stick in He-Man's battle axe. Give me your battle axe, He-Man. And you stick it loosely in his hand, just like that, so it can have some room here. Let me scoot these guys over. Scoot over, you guys. And then you can use this to throw the battle axe. And so I used to do this and have him huck it at Skeletor. Let me get that lined up again. Oh, my hand's in the way. Okay, here we go. And so you can use them to toss the battle axe around. And it's kind of a fun action feature, as he's an axe throwing guy, and being he's, you know, Fisto's brother, you know, there's from a family of axe throwing people. So it's kind of a fun little gimmick. And I'd line up a bunch of axes, of He-Man's axes, just for Duncan to throw. And depending on how you cock his arm back, depends on how far he'll throw it. So actually, if you cock it back extra far like this, you can get quite the throw on this. So you can see, whoops, it back went. You can see how far you can get it up. Okay, there we go. Oh, I pushed it too fast. All the way around the cycle again. There we go. It's not working because everybody's watching. Oh. You guys saw it work earlier. There we go. Anyway, now the fun part about it is He-Man's action feature is not quite as cool because his is just a fling like this. But you could get him to throw it like a frisbee. So if you pull out his sword, put his axe in, and you aim it just right, you can fling this back and have him throw his axe like a frisbee kind of. Not quite as fun as up over the top of his arm like Man at Arms, but still, if you get a good English into it, you can actually get this thing to spin pretty good. All right. Let me see what you guys are saying. Sorry about that. Let's see. Master Far says, I think you should do some more 2000X custom. But do you think, oh, you should do some more? Yeah, Master Far. Definitely do some more 2000X customs. That'd be great. James Justice, I'm not sure where the bird went to. He fell off the thing. And if you guys want my bird stands that are extra tall like this, I don't know if you guys seen it. The normal bird stands are only like this tall, but I went and made some extra tall ones to match like the original toy. So when they're doing their fighting falcons, they can have these huge giant bird stands that, you know, work. And it's kind of cool. When I made these, I did something kind of cool. Is I made the top half be the size for the male hands, and this bottom half be the size for the female hands. So one staff works for both. The males just grip it higher, and the females grip it down here in this portion. And that way then you can have the Sorceress, or Tila, or Evil Lyn, or anybody else hold the bird, or Skeletor, or He-Man, or whoever else you want to hang on to that bird. All right. I think that's probably going to be it. I got a link in the description. If you guys can click it, I'd appreciate it. And it is to check out the Big Joshes on eBay. I almost bought one the other day, like I was saying, just to show you guys, because thought it was so cool. And I thought, you know what? Oh, here's the extra bicep that I took. Oh yeah, that's right. So when I made this custom, I was tempted to keep the bicep on. I was really debating back and forth whether I should or not. He does come with a bigger bicep, so it goes like that. But it's black plastic painted with skin tone, so it doesn't quite match. But the reason why I didn't was, if you take a look at this Fisto here, both his biceps are the same size. Now granted, both his biceps are bigger than He-Man's biceps. His shoulder's also larger too. So Fisto actually has a bigger shoulder, bigger bicep, which is why if you make a custom Wonder Bread He-Man out of your Fisto, you end up with a small little gap right here in the shoulder. And I'll show you guys. I don't know if you guys have seen my Wonder Bread He-Man before. See, now I'm starting to ramble. Nope, wrong box. See, here's the birds at the same size as Big Jim, which, of course, was always monstrous for the regular size He-Man figures. It's just so crazy how big they were. I always thought it was so much fun when I was a kid, you know, flying those around the living room, having them battle in the there we go. Wonder Bread He-Man. Ta-da! So this is obviously a custom. And when I made this custom, I wanted his shorts to be brown plastic. So if you move his leg, you would see brown inside there. And so I actually used a regular Fisto, because he's the only one with brown shorts. And if you get the one that has the dark purple Fisto, then you can paint it black really easily. Now, the legs are actually just regular He-Man legs that I painted. And then, of course, it's Fisto's upper body and He-Man's arms. Now, because it's Fisto's upper body, he has the power punch still. Now, I did make one for a friend, and my friend's, I actually put a pin through the joint underneath this arm so that the power punch wouldn't work anymore. That way, because he wanted it to be more authentic. I actually like having the power punch still, makes it kind of fun. But you can see right here that weird little gap extra right around the shoulder because the torso is slightly larger than a regular He-Man figure's torso. And that's because the shoulders were actually bigger arms than a regular He-Man arm. You can see the shoulders bigger you can see right here, there's not much of a gap difference between his bicep and his shoulder on Fisto, as opposed to He-Man where it cuts in really deep right there on the top. I actually prefer aesthetically the way this one's shaped. I think this one just looks like there's something going weird with his shoulder there, but you guys get the idea. All right. Does anyone else have Fisto's armor in classics other than Clamp Champ? Clamp Champ doesn't actually have Fisto's armor. His armor is similar, but different. His armor actually has a big giant thing on the back that for Clamp Champ, which has like a black spot on everything else, supposed to be his power pack for his clamp. So even though his armor looks similar, it is different. Now, back when they made this guy, they did use the exact same armor for both Fisto and Clamp Champ, but they didn't do it when they made the classics. They actually gave Clamp Champ his own armor. Oh, nice. You have a 2000X Skeletor, great. Tila would be tough because of her ponytail and some other aspects she has on her Master Far, but that would be a cool one to do. Can a 2000X Man-at-Arms armor fit on Origins? Not even close. The 2000X armors are much smaller around than the Origins figures. You can just see the chest size difference of those figures. One time before we tried to stick Fisto's armor from the 2000X on an Origins because somebody asked me. And even though Fisto's is the largest armor that we have from 2000X because he has an extra large body, it still did not fit because his waist was smaller around an Origins figure. All right, great question. Now, something you can use for Origins figure, obviously, is breaking off the shoulder pad and using that for your Origins. But then again, it will take some work to make it work. Yeah, Fisto was the most expensive figure. Actually, no, I take that back. He was the second most expensive figure I ever bought when I got my second Fisto. I got the first one from Matty Collector. The second one I got from eBay. And like everyone says, it costs a small fortune to get it. And I remember biting the bullet thinking I need to get a second Fisto. And so that was me biting the bullet to get him. It was kind of cool. He was still mint in the box when I got him. Opened him up. Hey, thanks, Phil. I appreciate that. I don't actually have Wonder Bread He-Man. This is just a custom I made from Fisto. So he's just a custom figure I made. He's not the real official Wonder Bread He-Man. But I did get some of the brown weapons to put in his hands too. Even though, again, those brown weapons are still not the official ones. They are just... So the other day I kind of made a comment about New Adventures. Now, New Adventures figures, I'm not a huge fan of them. I only really liked one New Adventures figure. I liked a lot of their accessories and their weapons and their vehicles and stuff. Those are all fun. But this was the only figure I really liked because he had all the muscles. And so my kids had these ones too. And so I wanted to remake my New Adventures figures. And some of you guys have already seen the whole video on it, but I have it sitting out right here. I might as well show you because I got it just sitting right here in front of me. And so the New Adventures He-Man normally is this scrawny little guy. Let's see if I can find them. Nope, not him. Oh, this was the cool one. Bum, bum, bum. Anyway, somewhere on this pile, I have the New Adventures. Oh, that's not him. This is the Battle Punch one, which is the weirdest thing. They made this Battle Punch one. His torso just kind of freaks out on you when he punches. It's like, that is a strange movement that they did for this figure. I don't know if it's supposed to be spring-loaded or not. If it is, somebody tell me. Look at the size of this one hand, too. It's like, I don't understand what this figure is all about. But I will stand him up there. So this was the Battle Punch. This was the Thunder Punch. And where? Oh, this is my custom that I made to look like the comic that was made by the fans. Here he is. Here he is. New Adventures He-Man. All right. So here we have New Adventures He-Man, and he had a fun feature too, and that is when you turn him this way, his sword would go down, clink, clink, clink. You turn him this way, his arm would go up with his shield, so you can block, hit, block, hit, block, hit, which is fun, because you can block it, you can strike it, you can block it, you can strike it, and he has the little button on the back to make it easier for your thumb to do, which was never really easier. And he had a removable helmet. Dun-da-da. But, I mean, granted, in real life, a guy built like this would be strong. But next to guys built like this that we're used to seeing, he just doesn't look like he's really that strong. So then when they came out with this figure, it was like, all right, about time. They finally fixed the New Adventures He-Man. So I decided to make my own New Adventures He-Man. And here he is. Burp. And what I did was I took the Thunder Punch He-Man, and I took the armor from the classics and put it on him. And then I took She-Ra's sword and just painted it all gold. It's the New Adventure She-Ra sword, so he can have a sword that fits in his hand. And then I made the helmet removable by using the helmet from Darius and sanding it out. So now I have an awesome muscle-bound New Adventures He-Man the way he should have looked in the beginning. So there you go. There is my New Adventures He-Man replacement. The New Adventures armor right here is actually from the Classics figure. Now, I did... there it is. I also have some armor like this to put over the top of it that I cut the back out so you can put it actually over the top of this armor here and still have a spot for the sword. So kind of a fun little throwback to actually still use this and still use that sword. Oop. So let me show you. So in case you wanted to put the extra armor on him, I even made it work for that too. So you can put it on without, it's kind of tight on his head. Then you fasten that around and bada bing, bada boom. Once you got that all on him, then the back is still open so his sword can still go in his other armor. I know, the back looks kind of cattywampus, but, you know, I was just trying to hurry and make something cool. Most of the time, he will be sporting just this look right here. So there you go. All right, let me go and look at your guys' questions. I know I'm just pulling out figures at random. Hey, in case you didn't know, they made a yellow and a green one. See, look at the difference. I was surprised too. The green looks way cooler. Oh. And how'd you get it? Oh, the armor just comes off of the classics New Adventure He-Man. Yep, so that's pretty easy. And you can see underneath here, he has the armor built on him. You can see the difference between the two. I think it's kind of cool they threw the He-Man symbol on there. That was a fun touch that the Four Horsemen did. There we go. Stand, He-Man, stand. He's got those little bird legs. He can't hardly stand. Yes, Master Far, you're right. The Thunder Punch He-Man should be the only one. I'd be okay if all the supporting characters looked like this and He-Man was the only muscle-bound guy. I'd be fine with that. That's no problem. But He-Man's got to be huge. He's got to be a monster. He just can't be some, regular-looking guy that, is fit. He has to be like some massive, awesome bodybuilder, like our friend Sludge Master. Some big guy, not just some, regular, ordinary guy. Let's see. Where do you find the pegs for the new Origin figures? Tila, Evil Lyn, She-Ra. Oh. They tip over whenever you breathe on them, huh? I don't know. I mean, she is pretty cool. I guess the way I make my figures stand, in case you're curious, is I always take my fingers and put them on their feet and then kind of wobble them until it feels like they're secure. Then I let go of them. Whoop! And then they stand. So the trick is fingers on the feet and then wobble them. And then you'll feel when they reach that sweet spot where they're going to stand on their own. Yes. Hipster He-Man. No ponytail on this one. Here we go. Mr. Ponytail Man. Let's see. I don't think he has a ponytail either. Oop. Sorry, She-Ra. Nope. So it was just... That's funny. I thought for sure he had a ponytail on this one. So I guess it was just a Battle Fist one that had the ponytail. How funny is that? That is so weird. I mean, it looks like something happened to him, like he's the Thing from that movie Thing, or the Thing, the space creature that comes to Earth and imitates people and makes, living protein to eat and kills all these people and looks like them. Because that could move really strange like that and do these crazy movements that normal humans couldn't do. Yep, they got the holes under their feet, so you can make them stand if you get the little stands for that. Stand, She-Ra, stand. All right. Mattel messed up on the line by making those other two. Yep, in fact, it's kind of funny. When New Adventures first came out and I first saw the commercial, I was so excited for the new He-Man. How cool is that going to be? Then I walked to the stores and I'm like, where is he? And I was looking right at this. And it's like, actually, he didn't have his helmet on in the store. And, look at that face. It's not even iconic. I mean, look at this face in comparison. Yeah. But Thunder Punch. Thunder Punch He-Man, which I used the name twice, for both New Adventures and the regular, so they must like it a lot. Yeah, the females do have smaller feet, so they are hard to stand. That is true. What's funny, though, of course her head's still off, is look how big they made the feet on these figures here, because the way the armor is. I mean, yep, she's still headless. Guess I could pop her head back on. I have it just sitting right here. Burp. I'm in the middle of making some wings for her, so we'll see how that ends up going. All right, now I know someone on a video asked me about my Stinkor, so I'll go ahead and show you my Stinkor yet again, because someone asked me some questions about him. All my lights are in my other room. I was going to put a light on my camera. So this Stinkor used to be, it's known as a staction figure, and it stands for stationary action figure made by the Four Horsemen. It was after they stopped making the 2000X figures, they started making statues. Well, some of us decided to take the statues and articulate them. So here's an example of one that I articulated. Just his arms and his head and his waist moves, and that's it. Now, it's not super articulated, just enough so you can, do some cool poses and stuff. I also did one for Clawful, but I sold Clawful a long time ago. I also did one for the Sorceress, which hers is actually really lightly articulated, and that is all I did for her was her arms. And what I did was I basically put a magnet right in the middle of torso. I took some of my wife's pins, and they had little ball bearings on them, and I took and cut them off, and then I still had a pin on it and drilled a hole in here, heated it up, and just popped that right in there. And they both share the same magnet because it happens to be the right distance for those pieces. So, there you go. It'd be so cool if they would have made this figure in classics. Oh man, I saw some guy make a custom of this, and I kept finding myself going back to that page and looking at it again and again. The guy did an amazing job on that custom. This would have been so cool to have for actual action figure. Now, in case you didn't know, this figure actually did come from a actual reference. Let me show you. If I can show you the reference of this. Let's see. If I could remember her name. Give me a moment. There she is. So take a look at this figure right here. This is actually a statue you can buy. And if you look at it, it is very similar to this right here. You notice if it has the same type of waist right there with the lines going down, and it has the wings just like it. And you can see that this was obviously what they used to stylize the figure for the He-Man 2000X. I mean, it's so close to her. Let me find some other pictures of her. See, here's one of her too, a little more scary. But even the top, you can see even the headpiece is the same type of headpiece that she has. So I always thought that was kind of interesting how they made her look so much like this particular figure. I was tempted one time to buy one of these on eBay just so I could use it for parts, because I mean, you could see the stylistic of it. I mean, it looks just like her. It's crazy. Anyway, I thought you guys might find that interesting, that where the design came from. That's a cool looking one. But you can see the same kind of ruffles right around there for her skirt. The exact same style. I think this is the one I actually almost bought on eBay, I think. So, I always thought that was kind of crazy about how, when I found that, how much it was like the figure and the design that we already saw. Crazy. Anyway, I will stop jabbering on about that. Yeah. Some of these pictures are kind of crazy. Oh, that looks kind of weird. Look at that one. Anyway, I will stop looking at these pictures. But it's just funny how it's just so close. Even the head garment having the same type of thing on there. Let's see. Did you do a 2000X Classics Mechanic? I did not. Hate to tell you this. I hate Mechanic. I'm sorry. He's the figure that I always used to get trapped, that always got captured, that always caused the problems. And when they had Mechanics Lament and the way he talked in the 2000X cartoon, it was like, it just matched my feeling of him all the time. I mean, granted, when my kids were younger, I would take Mechanic and I would find some little thing and stack it up to this tall right above their head, and I'd turn him, and his head would pop up so you could see over, because that's the only way you can make him work. I think I stacked like waffle blocks or something so the kids could use him to see over, because his head only went up that high, just a little bit, and so it had to be just the right type of situation for it to work, around corners, whoop whoop whoop, or just over a block, just barely. Hey, thanks, Thomas, for joining us. I appreciate it. I do not make dioramas. That would be cool to do. I do make some play sets, though, which I guess is a form of a diorama. So that's something I have been doing, is making play sets. Some of you guys have seen it in my dungeon I'm making. I got one printing right now for my friend Brian. And I also made the the slime pit extension, and I have some other ideas in mind too. So stay tuned for those cool ideas I'm working on. Mechanic hate is blasphemy. Come on, man, he's Mechanic. Some people hate Stratos. I'm not that way. Stratos is okay. I don't know. Just think about Mechanic that's always bothered me. He just seemed like, he got injured, got his neck fixed, and now he's a Masters of the Universe. Because he can see over, they all fell over, just like dominoes. Thanks, Viper. I appreciate that. Yep, that dungeon is pretty cool. Yeah, Thomas, check him out. Extendor, he's cool. I like Extendor because he actually can do something. I mean, his legs stretch out, he gets longer there, and the waist and the head, and his head goes up and down out of the armored area in his face. Extendor is cool. It made Mechanic even more worthless than he was before. And Extendor, when he stretches, he's now a force to be reckoned with because he's so huge compared to, the other figures. He actually is like a giant, which is pretty cool. Ask King Randor, not me. Yep, Extendor is greater than Mechanic. And the new one even has a giant lance, that's so cool. He is a cool figure. All right. I think that's pretty much it that I have. Now, like I mentioned before, I also like to give my Fisto as a hammer. This hammer is really awesome for using for Fisto. It just matches his whole motif so well. Why didn't they create Marlena, Randor's wife figure? A long time ago in the 80s, they figured boy figures would sell. And just like when you collected Star Wars, you had one female, and that was Princess Leia, and then everybody else were guys. So Teela was like the Princess Leia, if you will, of He-Man. And then, of course, they did make the Sorceress later on because they had to. But originally, you're supposed to use the Teela figure for both figures. In fact, let me show you what I used to do when I was a kid. For those that are just here, is we had Teela, the warrior Teela, and then we had Teela. There we go. The goddess, I guess they used to call her. So, and in one comic, she was actually green. So I only had one Teela as a kid, but I used to take her armor off and on and pretend she was two different people, Teela or the goddess figure. And she'd, talk to He-Man this way, and then she'd talk to He-Man this way and give him, missions or whatever. Then pretty soon, I started making it that Teela was the one that transformed. Because back then I didn't have a Prince Adam. Prince Adam wasn't made yet. But I did have a Teela that could take the armor off and on and be, potentially two different people, even though it was really one. And so I used to pretend like she was the one that snuck off to transform into either the goddess or the warrior version of herself. But no one else knew it was her secret identity, and she'd come to He-Man and she would tell him, whatever it was, So it was funny that my Teela was the one that transformed, not my He-Man. In fact, originally my first He-Man figure wasn't even He-Man. My very first action figure from Masters of the Universe was Skeletor, but the first figure I used as my He-Man figure was actually Zodak. I didn't have He-Man for a long time. They were always sold out when I was a kid. And so I used to pretend like Zodak was He-Man with a helmet on. And so my Zodak was my He-Man figure for a long time. And then later on, I got Battle Armor He-Man. And that was actually my first true, real He-Man action figure. That was actually He-Man. They could have made She-Ra the daughter of He-Man. That would have been interesting. Originally, they were going to make it He-Man's girlfriend. But they didn't want to get into the whole boyfriend-girlfriend thing with Filmation. So that's why they ended up making her his twin sister. So they could have another show and have that out there. And then also they could have them both on the same thing and go back and forth. Which is why we saw He-Man visit a lot of She-Ra shows. So I used to use Zodak as Jason. That's funny. Oh, Galaxy Warriors. Yes, Master Far. Those are always cool too. Yep, He-Man and Teela are clearly a thing. In fact, the storyline is they get married in the future. And so, they become husband and wife. So, yep, they were a thing. Now, I always felt bad for Adam, right? Because you have Prince Adam. Let me pull him out of here. Not the cool Prince Adam, which is this one, the bodybuilding, beer drinking, bar hopping Prince Adam we saw in the comics. But no, this Prince Adam, the pink and purple wearing, sleeping all the time, lazy Prince Adam, that Teela just was always on his case, always telling him to, stop sleeping, get up and work, train, whatever it is. And then when He-Man would show up, I know this is not He-Man, but let's say he is. When he would show up, all of a sudden Teela would swoon. He-Man, and it's like, what the heck? What the heck? Because here Prince Adam liked Teela, but she wanted nothing to do with him. But as soon as, boom, He-Man shows up, then all of a sudden, she's all over him. It's just messed up. It is a messed up storyline, And I know we've seen the same thing with Bo and She-Ra, where Bo likes She-Ra, but not super hot on Adora, Yeah, Yo Wondar. Yo Wondar. Oh, he knocked over Teela. That's not good. If he's going to knock her over, he has to do it right. Okay. I do not condone violence, but sometimes it's fun. Oh, she fell over too soon. Come on, Teela, stand. I can't stand. Yeah. Oh, I missed her again. Zodak's down there so I can slap you. There we go. The new Zodak. Anyway. Why doesn't Bo know they're the same if Cowell does? Come on. I mean, have you not seen the cartoon? We have this guy. Oh, it's the wrong one, but you guys get the idea. We got this guy right here that looks just like, where's the head? This guy right here, they got the same head. Oops. They got the same head. How could nobody not know they're the same person? Come on now. I think it's just hilarious. I know, it's supposed to be some kind of magic thing that makes it so nobody knows what's going on. And I think it's funny, too, that his sword just appears out of nowhere, off his back. Yes, this Prince Adam's way cooler. The pantsless Prince Adam. That's funny. It's magic. Yep, the Thing and the Body Snatcher. Crazy stuff. Yeah, different skin tones makes all the difference. When I go tanning and I come out of the tanning booth, people are always surprised. Who are you? Even my kids. Dad? Is that you? Because that tan makes all the difference in the world, I don't know. I just think it's funny. Yes, Superman Clark Kent. I could see some differences too there, because I have to admit that I have been fooled with people that I'm used to seeing the glasses on. They pull them off, and for a second you don't recognize them because the glasses make their eyes look bigger, and so they do look different when they pull their glasses off. You know, I know it sounds funny now. Obviously, Clark's glasses were just regular glass, so his eyes won't look any different. But I remember I had this friend growing up, you know, in high school. His name was JR, and when he pulled his glasses off, he looked so different. It was crazy. I like the idea of King He-Man as well. That is so cool. Oh yeah, the black and white body snatchers in the 70s. That was cool. What's fun? Oh, you guys probably already know this, but you know, obviously Fisto can do some cool punches, right? He can do an uppercut, uppercut. He can do a head conquer too. So you put him like this and take his. So what I used to like to do is the compound, the punch that is compound. It is whipped back and under, and then you really get a hit because he's spinning and flinging at the same time. It's a super punch. So that was always fun to actually do, you know, the spring loaded on the bottom and the twisting at the same time. Then you can really get the whammo effect. I do have King He-Man. I'm not going to pull them out though right now because my spot where I put my boxes at's full of other figures right now. But sometime, actually, I got a video on it. I have a video that shows me opening King He-Man because I stole his sword to make my He Beast. Now, the other day I was at Target and I saw another merman, and I almost picked him up because, as you guys know, my merman sword has an extra opening right here, which makes no sense. And I thought, is it really worth spending $15 to get another merman just so that my sword is not split right there? You know what? I'm just going to live with it, and I'm going to be fine with it. And my grandkids will probably grow up thinking that the sword's supposed to be that way. And someday they may see someone else's and say, oh, the sword's not supposed to be that way. But Merman is one of my favorites for a long time. When my oldest boy was young, I gave him a merman and a battle ram. And he thought Merman was a good guy, and I never corrected him. And he didn't call him Merman. He called him Fred. And so we used to call him Fred Eckler, and Fred was a good guy, and he rode the battle ram. So in my son's mind, good guy, and rides the battle ram. The battle ram is his vehicle, and his name's Fred, not Merman. And it's funny because I never wanted to tell my kids any of the figures' names so they could have their own storylines and their own creations. A tan voice. How can I get permanent marker off my Fisto's fist? Well, luckily, depending which Fisto fist it is, if it's this one here, it's a little bit harder plastic. I would take alcohol and a pencil eraser. And take the alcohol just a little bit and take the pencil eraser and rub it on there. You'll see the eraser kind of go apart and shove and kind of make little marks everywhere. That should take off most of the permanent marker. The permanent marker is actually on the skin though. It may have seeped into the plastic and you may not get it off. So hopefully it's just on the outside. Again, get some strong rubbing alcohol, 70 or higher. If you got 90 or 99, even better. And then use an eraser with it too. All right, so let's see. What about Zodak? Zodak figured it out. Well, yep, Zodak did figure it out. Zodak with this K? Yeah, he figured it out because he works with the Sorceress. He probably already knew ahead of time the whole thing before Prince Adam knew. I'm guessing that Zodak just didn't figure it out. He just already knew. Because, you know, he's already dealing with the Sorceress and all the things. So yeah, Zodak knew. Okay, I saw online somebody bought 3 Origins Manny faces with a different face on each one. That's impressive. To actually find 3 in the package that actually have all 3 faces. The guard split on the sword. Just cut it off and filed it down at the points. I snipped them. Yeah, I've been tempted to do that, Adrian. Um, um, but you know, if you take a look at it, it's weird because it's actually not broken. It's actually longer where that's at. It's really strange, and they're rounded. So something happened in the mold, maybe an air bubble or something, and so it looks like it's supposed to be that way, like some kind of weird fish bones or something. I don't know what, but and being this bottom piece is some kind of bone-looking material too, it just kind of fits the aesthetic. So I'm actually gonna leave it. I got a one of a kind corn on the cob sword that has this cool handle that is only one in the world, and there it is. And I got it. Woo! All right. Yes, the female figure is awesome. She's from the 2000X series. She's the sorceress from that series. She was a cool statue. They did release her in two different color styles. This color style here, which was the original cartoon, and they also released her from the Filmation colors, but still this design. Now, what I've always thought was interesting, and it's not so visible on this figure, you can see a little armband right here, but in the cartoon, this armband's a lot wider on her arm, and it's weird because it's just on one side. If you watch the cartoon, in some frames it will vanish, and other frames it will come back, but it's like this little seam between her shoulder pad and her shoulder armor and her armband on her bicep. So kind of strange. Oh, she came with a bird too. And the bird actually magnetizes. No, it doesn't. I made it magnetize onto the stand. Let me see if I can find that. Oh. Where did I stick that? Hey, look, it's He-Man's hair. He-Man's hair. Okay. I am not seeing it. Must be in the other spot. My battery is not going to last much longer, so I may have to end this video pretty quick. There it is. So here's the bird she comes with. Very cool. And the bird comes with a stump that it sits on. If I can find it, there it is. And so what I did was I took the bird off of here. I put two nail heads in its feet and put a magnet inside here so that the bird can be magnetized onto the stump so that it can come off and on and not just be glued on there. So that's what I did with this one right here. Again, small magnet in there. Carefully pull the bird off the stump. Two small nail heads. And then magnetized it right on there. So that way then she can have her bird on its stump and have it removable. All right. Anyway, I want an Origins Deluxe Battle Armor Faker. That would be cool. I really wish they would have fixed the battle armor. I'm not going to get into that right now, but yes, Sludge Master. She is very attractive. All right. She does look Egyptian. In fact, she's based off of one of the Egyptian gods. And I actually showed that earlier. I still might have it up on my computer. She's actually based off of this Egyptian god right here. And it's very similar to the same design and everything of the way they designed her. So if you check it out, you can see that she looks just like her. She even has the same ruffles around there and everything in the wings. And they do have her in different colors all the time. So, yep, she is definitely based off of this character right here. Even the headpiece is the same with the circle on top. So you can see, especially this one, you can really see the stylisticness of the figure compared to who they based it on. Well, that's it. All right, you guys. You see the Queen of Grayskull class? Oh yeah, that's a cool figure. I have been thinking of actually using parts of that figure to try to make a custom of her. I'm still debating on how I'm going to do it. I may or may not do it. It's going to be a tough one to do. Hey, Maddie, thanks for joining us. All right, well, I'm actually going to call this quits because my battery's just about dead. Thanks for joining, you guys. I appreciate it. Like, subscribe, tell your friends. Click the link in the description and check out Big Josh. All right, you guys. Bye now. Oh, yeah, that's it. Bye now.